everyone, most welcome to Zylostar. New week with new opportunities with me, Mr. Amitia and Mr. Sam.
So much action happened last week. Gold has reached another highest price in history. What's about to happen with gold? That's what we're going to find about next.
So as you may check, last week we got the CPI and PPI numbers and other different economic indicators. So let's go and review it, and also let's have a look to the upcoming week.
All right, everyone. So here we are, and let's kick right into it. I would have really liked to speak of gold for the past week. However, it is not a topic I'll be covering. So yeah. So let's kick it off with the dollar index. As usual, as we can see, the dollar index has pretty much retraced from a very strong support and reached a solid resistance here, coming down again. So right now we can just expect it to be consolidating unless this level of 100.5 fails or 100.6 fails to hold. And if that happens, we will be seeing a very strong momentum down to the dollar later on. So that's about the dollar. Going to NASDAQ. So as we can see, NASDAQ has moved quite a nice upward movement, right? Breaking above the support or resistance at the time, now it's a support, and also broke above this trend line, settling at the resistance of 19,500. From here, we might see the price retracing inside this range and also to the trend line, and from there perhaps it can continue its up movement, or we can see a further retracement for the support here before it continues up its up movement. Now that's about US 100. Now going to Bitcoin. Where is Bitcoin? Now Bitcoin is very, very interesting. So as we can see, there is, since the beginning of the week, some pretty strong movement to the upside. We can see an upward momentum. So price broke the first resistance, retested, and kept going up. However, the price right now, it seems like it's stuck at a resistance. So from here, we can expect the price to retrace to the previous support of 58,000. And from here, we will be having two possible scenarios actually. So one possible scenario is Bitcoin continuing up its up movement, and that's due to more of fundamental factors, what's happening with the economy and things probably Mr. Amir going to be speaking of soon. Now, the second, let's say, possible movement, which is technically, right, after the price has failed to break this support, we can see the price actually going up, grabbing some liquidity. And from here, we also do have a trend line on this 4-hour time frame, right? Creating for us that, okay, let's do that. Okay, let me elaborate. So yeah, we do have a trend line like that with this support. So which also creates for us this descending triangle, which is a bearish triangle after we see the market has failed to break below the support. So from here, if the market goes down here, we get another confirmation or a possible break down for the support, then most likely the price shall continue its down movement, reaching to most likely the 49,000 level. So yeah, so that's should be it about Bitcoin. Keep an eye on it after probably Monday, Tuesday movement. From there, we can expect we can be more clear about its direction. So that'll be it for this week from my part. See you in the next one.
Hello again. So guys, we are here in Zylostar Strategies. We will take a look for the EURUSD and the gold market. As we said the previous week, was analyzing the gold, and we say that the gold is in range of 25.30 till 24.72. So but what we can see in this week, that the market is show breakout of the range of 25.30 to 24.73, and it's the highest price till now for the gold. This is first. So what we are expecting a small retest from here till this price of 25.36, 25.35. So then from here he will move to the upside again, and we can see break in this high here. This is the outlook for the gold from Zylostar strategy. Let's take a look for the Euro USD. They are writing Euro USD after breaking secondary trend line heading towards primary trend line. Like previous week was like here drawing a trend line, primary trend line in high time frame of 4 hours, as we can see here. Then after breaking this secondary trend line, we can see here a small retest, then the market start doing lower high, lower high, lower high. So it's like this trend line heading towards primary trend line, as we can see here, because already has the support to resistance level here. Is like going to break this support from here, then we can say a small retracement, then he will go to the primary trend line, as we can confirm also with the data of fundamentals analysis. Like combined with technicals and fundamentals, we will get a good result. See you next video.
Hello everyone, this is Masoud Amidian. Once again, we are here to review the last week and also let's have a look for the upcoming week. So as you know, we got the different economic indicators for the last week, such as PPI, CPI, and also we had a very important meeting such as European Central Bank meeting for the interest rate decision. And let's crunch the topic. Last week we got, as I said, one of the most crucial inflation data such as CPI and PPI. Here is a screenshot from the latest consumer price index numbers that we had last week. As you can see, the inflation dropped to 2.5% finally for the first time since 2021. But it's not all of the story. On the opposite side, from the core CPI, we got the higher than expected on the monthly biases, and annually it fixed on 3.2%. It happened because of the shelters. Last month, shelters price developed around 0.5%. As you can see here, it means that there is no improvement from the inflation side in the last month, although we faced a slowdown in the employment sector. Don't forget, the most favorite part of the CPI for the Federal Reserve is the core and super core of this economic indicator. From the PPI side, we had the same scenario like the CPI, but here I want to mention a vital view for the financial markets, especially for the United States, that nowadays market participants are putting more weight on the employment side and economic growth slowdown than the inflation indicators. So last week we had also an important event, as I said, which was the interest rate decision for the European Central Bank, and main refinancing rate decided to cut down by 0.6%. Later also we had a speech from the Christine Lagarde that she pointed to economic growth faces downside risk due to restrictive financing and weak demand. Despite improvements in the wages and monetary policies, labor market flexibility and high wage growth persist, but financial policies should focus on boosting productivity. And finally, on Friday, financial markets, especially US equities, got a positive pulse from the Michigan survey that mentioned, as you can see here, the consumer sentiment rose its highest reading since May 2024, increasing for the second consecutive month and lifting about 2% above August. The gain was led by an improvement in buying conditions for durables driven by more favorable prices as precised by consumers. Alright, from the corporate earnings, we had some companies like Adobe that the both earnings and revenues published higher than the Wall Street forecast. And finally, from the geopolitical side, we had the first debate between the Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump last week. Both of them mentioned their plan for the future of the United States. Don't forget, while the elections period, the volatility will be higher than the other times in the financial market. And before reaching the next phase, I want to talk about the energy prices in the United States. Today we have a very adorable price of the gasoline, which is $3.21 per gallon, and it's the consequence of falling the crude oil to $69 per barrel. Let's jump to the upcoming week. Next week is a crowded week from the economic indicators, and we are gonna have press conferences and interest rate decisions by different central banks all around the world, such as US Federal Reserve, Bank of Japan or BOJ, and finally the press conference of Bank of Canada. So let's go about it. On 17th of September, we are going to receive the CPI number for the Canadian dollar at 4:30 p.m. to Dubai time. As you know, the head office of our company is sitting in Dubai. And also, we are going to receive the retail sales from the United States at the same time. And don't forget, retail sales can play a very important role in the consumer and also better to say market participants sentiment. Later on 18th of September, on Wednesday, we are going to receive the CPI number from the United Kingdom at 10 a.m. and one of the most important meetings of the next week, which is the Federal Reserve interest rate decision and also FOMC meeting at 10 p.m. to the Dubai time. We are going to receive the federal funds rate. Most of the market participants are pricing 0.25% interest rate will be cut in the next meeting. So, and also at 10:30 p.m. we are going to receive the FOMC press conference, and let's see what Jerome Powell is going to mention regarding to the economy. Here you can see the latest economic projection from the June, and don't forget, before receiving the new economic projection, always review the last period. Here you can see change in real GDP versus the March projection, unemployment rate versus March projection, PC inflation, core PC inflation, and also federal fund rate. Let's have a look also on the dot plot. As you can see here, this is the latest dot plot which we had from the FOMC members. So back to the topic. On 19th of September, on Thursday, we are going to receive the GDP number quarterly for New Zealand and also employment change and unemployment rate at 5:30 a.m. And later at 3 p.m. we are going to receive the monetary policy summary from the United Kingdom and also interest rate decision. Don't forget, next week is a very, very crowded week, and always put a good way on economic indicators. And finally, at 4:30 p.m. we are going to receive the unemployment claims, or better to say initial jobless claims from the United States. Eventually, on Friday, 20th of September, we are going to receive the monetary statement and also better to say monetary policy statement from the Bank of Japan or BOJ, which is a tentative, and also retail sales from the United Kingdom at 10 a.m. And finally, we are going to have the Bank of Canada chairman speech, or better to say Macklem, at 4:15 p.m. And finally, 4:13 p.m. we are going to receive the retail sales number from the Canadian dollar. Next week, from the corporate earnings side, it's not already crowded. We only have FedEx earnings, which is going to publish next week. Don't forget, if you want to increase your win rate and the probability of becoming successful trader in financial market, always mix fundamental and technical. The result would be amazing.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, all of you. So don't forget to subscribe, comment, and comment if you want any subject to talk about.